Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another episode of the SITREP, episode 30. So I've come a long way. And my special guest tonight is Captain Kyle from the YouTube channel Fandom Spotlite. Captain, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Jason. How are you?
I am doing very well. Just to let you guys know, my viewers know, Captain Kyle and I will be meeting each other at TFCon at the end of the month. So I am looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've been, I tried to get him up to Pennsylvania for RetroCon, but it was RetroCon or TFCon. So, next year, you're coming to RetroCon.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get hooked after this. All right. Well, for those of you who do not know, my viewers know how the SITREP works, but for Captain Kyle's viewers, here's the lowdown. I have 10 questions for my guest as a Transformers fan/collector. The first 5 questions regard him as a Transformers collector, and the last 5 questions regard him as a YouTuber. And fair warning, these things go off the rails really, really quick. So, Captain, if you're ready to roll, we'll get this thing started.
Hit me.
All right. Question number 1. What's the appeal of Transformers for you?
Well, I remember when they came out way back in the day. I just thought they were incredible. One, I've always loved robots. I'm a big Asimov fan. I grew up reading all his robot books, The 3 Laws of Robotics, all that wonderful stuff. And I was also a big Star Wars fan, had lots of action figures. But with Transformers, you don't need to get the extra vehicle playset. And I just thought that was really cool. And of course, watching the show, I was like, oh my God, that is awesome. It's science fiction. It's a cartoon. I just love the concept. And so I had to get the toys. My first one was Beachcomber, actually. So I didn't get Series 1 Minibot. I got a Series 2 Minibot. And and then I just got hooked. I bought more and more Transformers. And then I got the comics. I actually came into the comics later on. And I thought it was awesome because in the comics, if you read the text specs on the back of the Transformers, it tells like Blaster has an electromagnetic or disruptor rifle, and Trax has a black beam gun, and this one has this special weapon. And in the comic books, that was their weapon. It wasn't like in the cartoon where they'd occasionally break out the special weapon. It was always a special weapon. So it was kind of like superpowers for robots. So,
I never thought of that until you mentioned that right now, because I always talk about G1 Marvel because I was into the Marvel comics before the cartoon. I lived out in the sticks. We didn't get cable. But you're right. I remember so many episodes where they would use their specific weapon to help during the battle. Blaster, Electro scrambled a lot of figures, or a lot of characters, actually.
Yep. Null Ray from Starscream, just all those things. Frenzy, though he was the wrong color or the right color, depending.
All the comment section's going to blow up now.
would create this sound that would disorient people. It was basically like they were robots with superpowers, which, since all their tech specs and stuff were written by a comic book guy, Bob Budiansky, it kind of made sense that he would kind of give them that special particular power, the special thing, instead of just, oh, he carries a gun and shoots, blasters,
red
ionic
lasers and blue lasers.
Yeah, basically, he's a good guy, so his laser is going to be this color, and the bad guy is going to be that color. Yeah, so not like G.I. Joe where they just, shot a lot of things around and didn't kill anyone.
And every vehicle had a parachute.
Yep. Even the ones
Even
on the
boats.
So yes, that's what kind of got me into Transformers. And I've just always been a sci-fi fan, always been a geek, always been into I've liked action figures for a long time, and just Transformers were just like, wow, this is the best of all worlds. And and I'll tell you more about my collection later, but on with your questions.
And let me try this again. Isn't it amazing that here we are 35 years later and they're still on the shelves?
Yep. It's I've talked to many of the actors who have appeared or voiced characters, and to them, I mean, they liked the Transformers. They thought it was a good story, a good job. But to them, it was a job. They had no conception that this many years later, that 35 years later, people would still be, liking me, Grimlock, be loving these characters, that there would still be, Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, and that this, to them, it was a cool job, and they liked it, and they liked the camaraderie, but, this many years later, for it to still be in pop culture, it's just amazing.
That it is. That it is. All right, which that kind of leads into question number 2. Aside from G1, which is always the number one answer, what is your favorite Transformers fiction?
I would have to say there's a lot of good ones, but I loved Beast Wars. I see you
That's
agree.
mine too. I love that one. That's the best story in that series.
And the fact that they eventually tied it back into G1, and I loved how Starscream, Commander Starscream, ended up taking over Waspinator. That was a great tie back. And, totally lied about how he died. That was just pure Starscream right there. I mean, I loved Transformers Prime. I've loved Robots in Disguise the first time around. That used to be Car Robots. That was a pretty good show. Armada had its moments, but for me, Beast Wars. Then there was Beast Machines. No.
Now,
Not as
that
good.
one I enjoyed more when I got it on DVD and I watched the whole series in order. The last few episodes were really, really good, but my God, the art was just horrendous in that. I hated that style and the fact what they did to all of our favorite characters.
And took away their weapons because, and they couldn't have Beast Wars because it had the actual word war in it. No, we can't have Beast Wars. They have to be Beast Machines. And they changed the entire dynamic of the show and how the characters worked. So it wasn't a bad thing to go back to Cybertron, but just the changes. The first season, I thought, especially when you had to watch it week after week, it's like, how many weeks am I going to have to wait for them to learn how to transform again?
And when they transform like this, the whole yoga pose.
I am transformed. We're all going to die again.
Oh, and I hated their new robot designs. They were, especially, what was the bat with the 90s hair comb over? Oh,
Nightstream.
Terrible. Yeah. All right, Beast Wars. Beast Wars rules. All right, question number 3. Do you have a favorite figure or grail? This is the one toy you will never get rid of.
That's hard to say.
It always is.
I have a favorite character, and I have a lot of really cool Transformers, but I'm going to tell you the tragic thing. A story that some of the people who actually, the 3 people who watch this will actually maybe cry a little bit. At one point, my collection, I had every single U.S. released G1 Transformer, every single U.S. released G2 Transformer, every single Beast Wars, every single Beast Wars 2, except for like the special edition ones, every single Beast Wars Neo, all the Beast Machines. I was a completist all the way up through Car Robots and a little bit beyond that. So I used to have every single US G1 Transformer and a few UK Action Masters, some Japanese ones, and I sold the majority of my G1 and G2 collections. So I even sold Trax, who we'll talk about him a little bit later. I even sold, I know that just recently you did the Power Master Transformer reviews. So you had Dreadwing and Darkwing, or Darkwing Duck, or whoever they are. Darkwing and Dreadwind, who became Darkwind, or is it the other way around?
They became Dreadwing.
They're Dreadwing, so it was Darkwing and Dreadwind.
I couldn't tell you how many times I flubbed that up in my review and had to redo.
I had I had both of the Japanese versions of those, which were different colors and different characters, and
they were Hydra and Buster.
Yeah, I had Hydra and Buster both in the box, and Hydra's box, mint perfect. Hydra's not, Buster's not so much, but Hydra's box was mint perfect. I actually picked it up for like $75 on eBay. I sold it for like 350. So
wow.
So there's nothing that I wouldn't actually sell, as far as characters, if you give me enough money. But I have a lot of favorites. I actually like having some of the more odd ones, like the Turbo Masters and the Predators from the UK and the Rescue Force. I like kind of the odd ones, but there's nothing that I probably wouldn't sell if you offered me enough money. So
nice. I kind of feel your pain. I was a completionist there for a while, but I didn't really get into G1 until about 2013 after I went to my first convention. But I had, when I started again was during the Beast Wars era. I collected only the Predacons, though, for some reason, because they turned into cooler animals. And then I had all of the other ones up until 2011 when I had my giant Transformer Purge. And it was almost like a week later was instant seller regret.
Yeah. I mean, when I sold my collection, I paid off all my credit card debt. I put money in the bank. I had work done on my house. It's not like I, blew it on, beer. Selling that collection, I got a lot of money. Some of the Micromaster sets that I sold to somebody in Australia, he was paying like $150 for one Micromaster set of the later ones. So, I mean, it was worth it financially, but there are days that I regret selling that collection, especially when I have to turn to dear friends of mine who still have their collections and say, hey, I'm going to be doing a video on the story of Optimus Prime. Can I borrow, or the story of Bumblebee, actually, because I actually kept all my Optimus Primes. But, like, I'm doing the story of Bumblebee. Can I borrow your G1 Bumblebee and your G1 Action Master Bumblebee and your Pretender Bumblebee and your Legends Bumblebee so I can actually show them during this, video? So, yeah, there are days that I regret it, but at the same time, do you actually, with G1, I don't really like to, I found that I didn't want to really touch them all that much because they were valuable, and they're also not exactly very the playability is not there as there is in some of the newer ones, because the posability on the new stuff, I gotta say, it may not be die-cast, but it's definitely, with the ball and socket joints and the things that they do, you can do so much more with the new figures. So
they're amazing. Yeah, every time I do a G1 review, I always like to show the transformation, but there's sometimes when they creak and crack and my heart stops. But so far, I've only had one break. I was doing a video review of Scorponok, and I had him up on a big folding table, and I was doing something with Scorponok, and Fast Track rolled off of Scorponok, off the table, hit the floor, and broke. So it was only Fast Track, which is like a $12 figure I could rebuy, but
right.
Still seeing that G1 hit the floor and shatter was just like, it sucked.
At least it wasn't like a black Xeric. The Japanese with the gold plastic syndrome, that'd be like, that would like crumble. I had a G2.
This is my pride and joy right now.
Good old Monstructor. Yes.
100% complete, unbroken. Of course, watch me drop him now talking about him.
Yeah, don't do that.
We will gently put him back where he belongs.
I had, speaking of the gold plastic syndrome, I had completed my G2 Superion collection. I didn't collect G2 when they came out um, because I had kind of gotten a little bit away from collecting for a while, and I went into the stores, and the only one that I remember seeing was a G2 Swindle, and I'm like, what the heck is this coloration? Doesn't make sense to me. Later on, of course, I got G2 Swindle and Onslow and all, but I had built up my Superion, and I'm like, finally, I have all the pieces. I can put them together into G2 Superion, and I did so. And Slingshot was the right arm, and I went to turn it so that he could point his gun forward, and the head broke off. Gold plastic. But it gets worse. I realized that he was broken, but I'm like, things happen. I had another G2 Slingshot in the package, and I'm like, well, I'm going to release him from his plastic prison, and we'll get this guy set up. I took him out. I went to transform him from plane into robot. It crumbled in my hands. I never should have took it out of the package. It would at least look nice on the wall. So I actually found a G1 Slingshot, and I still have it somewhere. I would planned to paint it gold to replace that, but I never got around to it. So
nobody will know but you.
Yeah, but it was gold plastic syndrome. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
My first experience was the bristleback figure with Monstructor. I got all the pieces to I didn't really know about GPS, so I got him, and he was in creature mode. So I went to turn him into robot mode, and boom, lower body just vaporized. So after that, I've been very picky. I've got I guess I have every G1 Decepticon. So I've got the GPS plagued Roadblock. So I never touch him, and Monstructor up here.
Yeah, I don't think that GPS is still a thing. At least I've not experienced it. But then again, I can't recall any of the new stuff that has gold plastic.
I guess the newest thing, it's not really new now, it's almost 25 years old, was the Transmetal Megatron, the brown T-Rex. I heard he's plagued with it. I have him on the shelf, but ever since I heard that, I've never touched him to tempt fate, if you will.
The Transmetal version of Megatron, you say?
Megatron.
Yes. The beast wars are over. You lose.
New package, same product. Loser.
Yeah, I just interviewed David Kay recently, and he's a fun guy.
I'm jealous. He's one of my favorite voice actors. He's awesome.
I'm to RetroCon, and he was there. But you can watch his panel on my channel, Fandom Spotlite. There we go.
There's your. I can't say plug. Every time I say plug your channel, I get laughed at. All right. Question number 4. What is your white whale? What is your most wanted toy? Now, we don't even have to stick with Transformers right now because I know you're a wide spectrum.
Well, I like a lot of things, and my channel covers a lot more than Transformers, as you know. But my white whale, the thing that I would really love to have, but I'm not really looking for it, and it's kind of like if I came across it, it would have to be a really good deal. Grand Maximus. I would love to have a Grand Max, the Pretender shell for the Headmaster, 100% complete. That would be awesome. I don't know if they ever released a reissue. I used to have Brave Max and Fort Max, and I actually, in my basement when I used to live in Connecticut, in my basement I set up on a table. I had Brave Max, Fort Max, both in city mode back to back, with Omega Supreme, Countdown, Metroplex. Metro Titan would also be a nice one to have, but I would have loved to have Grand Maximus to kind of fill out the group.
That would be a heck of a find.
I do know people who have such things, and I'm very envious, but and I told them to put me in their will, but I don't know if it's going to happen. because then I'd probably be tempted to kill them.
That's funny. My son comes in here every now and then. He asks about the Transformers, and he wants this one. He wants this one. I said, well, you can't have these, but you can have them all one day. And he says, when's that? And I said, well, when I'm dead and gone. He goes, well, when's that? So now, there's sometimes I'm afraid to sleep at night if I know he's still awake.
I said that Alan Oppenheimer, voice of Skeletor, I was talking to him at a convention, and I said, I'd like to be a voice actor one day. And he's like, well, don't do it now because I need the work. You got to wait until I'm gone. I said, well, will you hurry up? And he just cracked up.
Yeah, hurry up. Yeah.
I am Skeletor.
This is our last Transformers question. What is your favorite Transformer character? Any fiction or any media?
Well, it's the same one that I actually cosplayed at RetroCon, the only Transformer cosplay I have. It happens to be Trax from G1, because I've always loved Trax. And Michael McConaughey is just a wonderful, wonderful individual. And Trax would have to be my favorite. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. A Corvette that can fly. What could you not like about that?
I remember when I first got a G1 Trax, I was so upset that his face didn't look like the cartoon. That was probably my first heartbreaking moment when you realize the toy doesn't look like the cartoon.
Well, I mean, look at Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it at all.
Well, Gears, Brawn, Ironhide.
I wasn't that upset about Trax. I mean, I did wish that the toy looked more like the cartoon, but I have to say that the biggest disappointing Transformer in G1, Ironhide. And, of course, Ratchet. Just, what the hell is that? It's like, what is it? So,
but they had that awesome sticker face.
Yeah. Those were the only guys who were actually, well, the first issue of Transformers, the comic book, were actually shown in that mode in the first issue only, but then they changed to the cartoon style. I used to not put them on the little tank thing, scooter. I don't know.
Battle platform.
Exactly. Battle platform. I think it looks like something that a hover round. They're just like so old. This is the Transformers version of a hover round, but you can shoot things. Every time I get into my hover round, my circuit sizzle.
Here we go to the Walmart.
I used to put those aside, and I actually had extra cassette guns from Frenzy and Rumble, and they would fit and slide over their hands. So that's what they used for their guns. Were actually Decepticon weapons, but it's not a Decepticon weapon when I use it.
I love it. And from what our agreement is, I'm going to be helping Trax out at TFCon, correct?
Absolutely. I will be putting on that cosplay and walking around because I definitely need Michael McConaughey to see it. And also I'm going to enter the costume contest. TFCon, I normally go to cons as press because I interview a lot of people. I record panels. I have people running around taking photos. TFCon does not do press. Even though in their FAQs it says, your picture may be taken by a member of the media. But if you're not letting them in, then who's taking my picture from the media? But I'm going to do some reporting there anyway. But since I'm not there as press, I'm going to get into that costume contest, and we'll see how impressive the costume is. But I have seen some really impressive Transformers costumes, so I'll be happy to place or just get a good reaction. But yes, you'll be helping because I have someone working on it right now, and he's supposed to be putting a fan in the helmet and maybe areas for cool packs because that thing is hot as hell. My God.
I can only imagine. I had a full-body Darth Vader costume that I got for Halloween one time,
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible on the inside. I mean, my lenses would fog up. I had my wife kind of guide me around because I couldn't see. There were like these little slits right below the eyes where it was the only place I could look at. Of course, now I'm doing my costumes a little bit more simpler.
I actually prefer things that don't have helmets or masks, but I have a few that do have that, and it's always good to have a handler when you're wearing something that crazy.
I kind of like how the Cybertronic Spree does their helmets and masks, where it's just the nose up, so they got they can breathe and use their face. Pretty ingenious.
Well, plus they have to sing, so
True.
It's kind of necessary for them too. But yeah, it makes sense.
All right, well, here we go. Here's our YouTube questions. This is where we always go off the rails, and considering we're only at question number 6 and we're already almost 30 minutes in, we pretty much have anyway. But question number 6, my good friend, what possessed you, a grown-ass man, to do toy reviews on YouTube?
The devil possessed me. No. Actually, when I first started doing YouTube, I was not doing toy reviews. Not that I love toys. My channel started out doing cosplay stuff. In fact, my channel was very limited. So now this is where I get into a very long-winded explanation. My channel started out with a talk show as the main thing, with occasional costume reviews called Captain Kyle's Cosplay Spotlight. Later on to be known as Cosplay Spotlight with Captain Kyle. That was for the 3rd season. And that was... I started YouTube not wanting to do YouTube. I was using this so that some network would be able to see my stuff and be like, we like your idea. Come on, work for us. We're going to put you on national television. So it took me over 2 years to realize, I'm a YouTuber. I should probably learn how to do this shit. So one of my episodes shot at RetroCon was a Transformers cosplayer. I had Cosmos on stage with me as we were doing this before this Atacon thing. It always had a live studio audience, but I had Cosmos sit next to me, and as I'm talking to Cosmos, when they're answering the question, sounds exactly like the character from the cartoon. It was amazing, until I revealed at the break that Michael McConaughey himself was in the back with a microphone reading off a script and answering all the questions. So
that's awesome.
it was a fun time. But yeah, eventually my channel we've done a lot more cosplay and convention stuff. It's actually been more recent that we've gotten into the toy reviews. And actually it might be the first or the second video that I did for Transformers. I decided to do a series of Transformer documentaries. But not like, here's the Transformers and the history of the Transformers, and we're going to look at all the Transformers all at once. I decided to do the story of Optimus Prime, from where he started as a toy in the Diaclone line, to how his character was developed, to how he was in the comics, to how he was in the cartoon, to the different versions of the toy, and basically tell his story chronologically from his beginnings in 1984, and a little bit before that because of the Diaclone thing. So I started doing those, which take a long time, I have to say.
And they are great. I'll tell you that. They are very impressive. I mean, it shows the work you put into them.
Well, thank you. Part of the problem is because I'm doing all the other videos. As a YouTuber, you have to keep doing videos. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to take a month off and concentrate on this one video. You really need to continue to put out stuff if you want to grow. So I'm still
because those analytics will drop really quick.
Yeah, I mean, I still have videos that would probably get views because I have videos from months and even years ago that still get consistent good views, but it would just basically begin to drift downwards, and yeah, it would be horrible. So part of what takes so long about those videos is because I want to do them right. And I have all these other videos, so it's like I have to shoot it on this date. And then I have to do a little bit of editing over time. And I'm pulling screen captures or scans of comic book pages. And I'm finding particular parts of episodes to use as a clip in there. And then I'm adding in, I went up and interviewed Bob Budiansky, who did all the tech specs for the Transformers and most of the names, and interviewed him. And, it's incorporating all that stuff and trying to also get in touch with the voice actors, which I couldn't get Peter Cullen for Optimus for the first one, but later on in the series, there will be other voice actors who will show up. Yes, there will be. Yes.
I wonder who that is.
Well, it would not only be him, but, perhaps his Beast Wars foe as well, who was also an Optimus Prime.
That he was.
So, yeah, it takes a lot of work, and I don't want to half-ass them. And oddly, they do okay on YouTube. I also have an Amazon Prime channel, and they do much better on there. So you can watch the story of Optimus Prime and the story of Bumblebee on Amazon Prime.
I'll have to check that out. I invest in Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
I get that 2-day shipping.
Yeah, especially on Transformers.
That's your only option. I have a Walmart and I have Amazon.com. That's it for me.
I have Walmarts and Targets, but it's like sometimes it's just easier to go on Amazon or Hasbro Pulse. $30 today for a Siege Shockwave.
I saw that.
I had to snatch that up because I did not want to pay $50 for basically a deluxe class figure on a battle platform.
You can turn that battle platform into a cell phone holder, I figured out. Check out my Shockwave review.
Okay. You should just do that as a separate video. How to convert your toy into a cell phone holder.
I'm always looking for new branches.
Now,
all right.
But I didn't actually get to the toy review. So I started doing that, and then I had to justify somehow to my girlfriend buying all these toys because, after I sold off my G1 and G2s, I kind of stopped collecting for a while. And I just got into cosplay and other stuff. And then I started seeing some of these Combiner Wars things and Siege things and Titans Returns things. And I'm like, I would go to the toy section of Walmart and I would see these toys and I'd be like, those are really cool, but I'm not collecting anymore. I'm not collecting anymore. I'm just getting this one. I'm just getting these two. I'm okay.
Since I have this one has to go with him.
Yeah, I just got a Terracon, so now I need to get all the other Terracons. And so I can
I have more bad guys than good guys.
Yeah, it's just like I just couldn't stop. I mean, I cheerfully mix them in with the older, stuff that I have. So yeah, basically part of it is to justify my getting these things, but I just enjoy doing reviews. I've done other toy stuff like Doctor Who, sonic screwdrivers, and some Walking Dead toy stuff, and I was just like, I enjoy, doing reviews and having two cameras, and though that takes longer to edit than some of my more popular stuff. So it's like, just because I use two angles, I have a camera here to my left, and I have a camera on me, so I can talk to the camera and show it in scale to me, and then I can do close-up shots. So, but that takes a while. So, but I just love it, and I don't care that I'm old enough to have kids who have graduated college, and yeah, we won't talk about that.
I might be right there with you. So.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about age.
No, not at all. Not on this channel. I don't think my camera's not high def enough to see all that gray.
I shaved, so you can't see all the gray that would normally be there. So
my son would skin me if I took this off. He told me if I shave, I wouldn't look like a daddy anymore. And I asked him, I
Okay.
said, well, what will I look like? And he says, just some dude.
All right. Well, it's a threat. Behave or I'll shave.
Well,
There
I
you
did
go.
have the whole thing, but I like this a little better.
It's a
All
little
right.
easier to maintain.
You kind of answered question number 7 here, which was what keeps inspiring you to get in front of the camera?
I'm an attention whore. No, a little
I
bit.
think we
No,
all are. That's why we do this.
no. What inspires me? I mean, um, I enjoy being on camera and presenting things, and I'm always trying to get better at it. And I'd love to one day be a voice actor and an actor, but I'm also my day job, which I still have because YouTube doesn't pay me enough and all the other stuff doesn't pay me enough yet. I am a technology instructor at a law firm. So I get to teach people and be in class and basically make bad jokes and teach them how to use computers,
And
which
they
can be
have to
fun.
laugh at your jokes.
Sometimes they laugh. Sometimes they throw rotten fruit, but it gets a reaction, so it's all good. But yeah, I just enjoy the presentation. Um, Obviously not Transformer related, but I do reactions to the Walking Dead episodes. And I dress in cosplay, and I actually take on the persona of the governor, and I'm in character, and I'm like, Michonne, you owe me a penny, damn it.
I was hoping you was going to bring that up because I think that's how I first discovered you was watching those. And then I got rid of my satellite. So I only watch Walking Dead when it comes on Netflix. So I can't watch you now because you'll spoil an episode. I have to backtrack.
I'm sorry, Sling TV. Look into Sling TV. Since you obviously have internet access, you can watch it on there. YouTube TV as well, but YouTube TV is more expensive, I believe, than Sling TV.
Well,
But
my
it's
problem
also
is I stream everything through my PS4, and Sony
okay.
has some of those things blocked. So
Ah,
we just do
pick,
Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime.
okay. Pick yourself up a $35 Chromecast, and it'll work. I have two of them, though I don't need one now because I just bought a new TV that is Chromecast compliant, or so. But yeah, I have one in my living room. I just say, all right, YouTube TV, stream this. Okay, switch to CBS All Access because I want to cry about Star Trek Discovery. And let's now go to DC Universe and watch some Titans. So, I stream like everything to my TVs. And then you go to YouTube and you say, stream this on my TV and just watch that. I don't watch a lot of YouTube videos on computer. I'll stream them to my TV, so I get the full effect. So YouTubers out there, make sure you're doing high def because I don't want to see no pixelated bullshit on my TV.
And wash your hands.
But okay, did I answer that question?
I
So
think so. You led into question number 8, which is there are thousands of toy reviewers on YouTube. What what makes you different than the rest? And you just answered that with your Walking Dead. What do you call it? Walking Dead reviews as the governor, and you do Star Trek reviews too, right?
yes, as Q.
As
I
Q.
am Q, you sniveling primitive human. Yeah, I always enjoy playing Q. Being a character is fun. But even when I'm not in character, I think with the reviews, what I like to do is instead of just saying, here's the toy, I like to give a little background. I like to talk about who the character is. I like to sometimes make jokes. And yes, the whole Frenzy Rumble thing, when I did a review on the Garaffi or Graffy, and that set that came out, that came with a Frenzy, who I think of as Rumble, because I watched the show and Rumble was blue.
And he was
And
blue
so,
in the comic.
yeah, so I think they should just get over it and switch the names. And I think they did that in Japan. I heard something about that. as they actually have already switched the names. So, but yeah, Rumble, to me he's Rumble. But they included a Frenzy with the Dinosaur 2-pack. Why didn't they just... They already had a Frenzy with the Walmart exclusive. So, Rat Bat maybe? That would have been
Or
nice.
Enemy. The red one was Enemy?
Yeah, Enemy's the... that one, and then there's the... they could have also done 2 Autobot dinosaurs, and then Slugfest and Overkill maybe? Yeah, that could have been nice. Go with the dinosaur theme. But, if they put out the other set again, which I know that they already did some kind of reissue, but if they put out the other set and they put a Rumble/Frenzy with it, I'm probably going to get that set too. It's, it's unavoidable. So it'll happen. But I just wish they had, helped the completists in me, because now I'm not getting a lot of the reissues. I did not get the Soundwave reissue from Walmart because one of the G1 Transformers that I still have is a G1 Soundwave. And mine was not the original one I had. It was actually, I was dealer scum for a while. Now I had a store and I, bought collections, and this one guy sold me in the box. I don't think it had ever been transformed. This was maybe 15 years ago. A G1 Soundwave. Getting the battery cover off was like, I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it. But he stands, how they lean forward. This is like he stands up perfectly straight. It's awesome. Yeah, I didn't need to get the Walmart version, not for $50 at least. And though I would like to see, there's probably some differences, so I may have to borrow someone's just so I can compare. This is a genuine, original, no reissue at all, 1984 version versus the reissue from Walmart. There's got to be some changes.
I think somebody on Facebook said, or maybe it was a YouTube review, said the plastic just felt a little cheaper. Almost the only one I got, because he was on clearance for $7, was the hot rod, because I got a G1 hot rod, and you could tell the difference in the plastic quality between this one and the one over there on my shelf. So I would say that probably carries over with Soundwave and the others.
Yeah, I have. I bought one of those $7 hot rods, but I still have. I have the original Japanese reissue hot rod. All right, my first collection that I had, my first wife convinced me, and I can't really blame it entirely on her, but she convinced me to sell off my collection for a song. So after we split up, I started recollecting, and I got a hot rod, but then the reissue came out, and the Japanese reissues felt just like G1 at the time. So I have the G1 reissue hot rod and the Crystal Rodimus and the Black Rodimus. So I have the 2 special chase ones. So but I picked up one of the $7 ones. It's still in the box. I just made sure that I got one that was facing the correct direction.
I pulled out my X-Acto knife, slit that tape, peeled it back, flipped him around on the inside, and put him back. Because I dug and dug, and I couldn't find one. I thought, I'm just going to do it the easy way.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 9. This is where we're going to get into YouTube's new change that may be affecting us. What's your thoughts on the Transformers social community, i.e. YouTube, Facebook, and do you have any shout-outs?
They're a bunch of geeks, which is good. Grow up. What are you doing playing with toys and not sharing with me? Come on. To be honest, I haven't done a lot in the community because, again, until more recently, I was pretty much sticking to cosplay and other aspects of fandom.
And you're always on the road, too. I mean, you and I have been trying to do this for months. And you're gone pretty much every weekend.
So, basic convention spree. So New Jersey to Texas to TFCon, back to Jersey, back to Texas, and then what's after that? I think, sheesh, I don't even know anymore. I know that the last one is like, or no, there's a local one and then Allentown, PA. So, yeah, 7 cons in a row. Then I may be, for a while, because usually the winter you have less cons, I may not be doing, unless I hear back from Steel City, which I may be going out there in Pittsburgh. So that might happen in December. So yeah, I'm on the road a lot, but I get to meet interesting people. So wait, what was the question again?
What was what's your thoughts on the Transformers social community? YouTube, Facebook.
People on Facebook seem pretty cool. I haven't really, I check out their pictures. I haven't interacted with a lot of them. For you, I see a lot of cool people on YouTube, doing Transformers stuff. The problem with doing so many cons and doing so much, making so many videos, and it's about to get worse, and we'll get to that. The problem is I don't have as much time to look at other people's stuff as I'd like to. There's a lot of great stuff out there, but when I come home from work, I'm like tired, I want to relax for a bit, and then it's time to get up and set up a backdrop or a green screen or something and shoot a video, or I'll be editing videos and editing more videos, or I'll be packing for a con, and then after that con, I'll have 15 videos to edit. So it's like, I unfortunately don't watch a lot. I've met a few great toy YouTubers. Pixel Dan was a cool guy. Dan Larson was at RetroCon. I interviewed him with Toy Galaxy. I haven't really interacted too much with people who mainly do Transformers reviews. They kind of do all kinds of toys. So, but yeah, so I guess I'm going to shout out them because, they were on my channel. And of course, there's Patriot Prime reviews. You should check out his stuff if you aren't already. Wait, if you're watching this, you're checking out his stuff.
You can't say the word collars right, though. I get so many people give me grief for that.
Say that word again.
Collars. Like you have a collar of your shirt, and then there's the collar on your shirt, and a dog wears a collar.
Okay.
I'm from West Virginia, man. Collar.
Okay. I'm not going to give you grief about that. I hang around. Some of my dear friends that I used to hang out with at BotCon were from Kentucky, and when I'd hang around them too long, I'd start to talk slower and say things like "y'all." I hear that, and it was just.
Tell you what.
Yeah, if I start picking up your accent, do not be offended, because it's just something I do when I hang around people. Though when I went to England, even though I do sometimes do an English accent, I didn't really pick up their accent. It was just, I guess, too different, and I would have felt self-conscious because these are the people who are actually from England. Some of them had me do my accent, and they said I wasn't bad. So, but
on a dare, I did an entire review in an Australian accent.
Crikey!
That was rough.
Must have been incredible.
I decided to review the Autobot Outback. I figured it was an appropriate Transformer.
Did he have a handy Decepticon detector? I think, wasn't it Dan Gilvezan who voiced Outback?
I think so. We'll find out at the end of the month.
Or you can just look on the TFCon website under this guest voiced Hotspot and Outback and Bumblebee and all these. Yeah, IMDb's are also your friend.
Yes, I love that. I love that site. All right, let's get into, we talked about this before I started hitting record, YouTube's big change in January.
All right. Well, for those of you who are not YouTubers and aren't aware of the change, Let me just put it in brief. In order to protect kids, which is a good thing, YouTube has changed their policies to disable children targeting content from allowing people to put comments on it. And also to protect the privacy, they are eliminating the targeted ads. You know that freaky shit that happens when you're like in the same room as your computer and you say, I could probably use some paint, and then you look on, a Google site or your next YouTube video, and it's like, here at Sherman-Williams, we have paint, and, that type of thing. Well, they're protecting kids' identities and privacy, which is a good thing. I'm not going to say it's not. The concern is what happens to Patriot Prime reviews, what happens to other channels that are not targeted at children, but they review toys for adult collectors. Are they going to take away those targeted ads, which means the amount of money you make per ad exposure is a lot less? Are they going to do that? Well, I'm thinking that it might affect or it might not. I mean, yes, it's toys, but they might actually have their algorithm look at the actual demographics, at the actual people who are watching. Because you do more toy reviews than me. What's your demographics? What's the main audience that watches your videos?
35 to 45.
Right.
Because most of mine are the vintage G1 figures. That's how I started off. And, the Toy Hacks reviews, which is for the older collectors to enhance your toys. Your 10-year-old Timmy out there buying a new Jazz figure is not going to go on repro labels to enhance his display when he's going to be playing with him out in the dirt. So, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I've got, according to my demographics, which doesn't mean that John's 4-year-old son Timmy's not watching me do a review on that Jason Voorhees figure. But what bothers me, I mean, I just got monetized in January, so I don't make much as far as the ads are concerned. I have fun doing this. I have a blast interacting with people. That's like I spent the last 5 days doing this insane horror movie figure review. I spent a fortune, or not really, I didn't spend a fortune. I spent a lot of time on the last 1 minute of that video, and I do it because I want to see people's reactions. I want to read your comments. And if YouTube decides to, hey, you review toys, you can't have comments on your videos anymore, what's the point? I mean, in my opinion, because I'm not making that much money anyway. I made $200 in the last 8 months. So for me, I love the interaction. I love, hey, I've spent 4 days working on this 20-minute video. What do you think? And now if I do all that and there's no reaction, there's no, attaboys, more or less, what's the point? It's totally not like I don't enjoy doing it. I have fun making these videos, but it's that interaction's what keeps me doing these videos.
I totally understand, and I gotta say, I love it when I do a video and someone is like, they refer to something and say that was hilarious, or that was a good point. I mean, I've got on my Transformer reviews, I get stuff like for the Refractor review, people were like, thank you for calling him Reflector, because he is Reflector. I'm sorry, just because you can't trademark or copyright or registered trademark Reflector because it's such a generic term, I'm not going to call him Refractor just because you did some weird spelling. And I understand why they're renaming these figures, and I also understand why some figures were called like Autobot Jazz and stuff like that, because you can't trademark Jazz. That'd be a problem. But I love the interaction as well. That, I think, is going to be a big thing, and I'm hoping that they see that since it's the demographics are not kid focused, that they won't take away that interaction. I mean, a lot of people are, I've seen some videos where people are like, I'm not going to do it anymore. It's not worth it. And I get it. but it's too soon. It hasn't happened yet. So we don't know if that is actually going to go into effect. So I'm
Oh,
taking
without doubt,
a
I'm going to keep on keeping on. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, there are other ways to get the interactions. There's Discord servers. You could always say, visit my Facebook page for Patriot Prime reviews and, leave comments, on the picture that I have from this thumbnail, and we can chat there, which is going to reduce, obviously, the spontaneous comments, but you'll get some interaction. As far as money, and this may be the worst time for me to do this. All right, here's an announcement for people on my channel who don't know this yet, and people on Jason's channel, of course, who are like, we don't really care, but go ahead. We're watching, or they're clicking off right now. The toy reviews I've done on Fandom Spotlight have done pretty well, but they don't really fit with the rest of the channel. And I've also been saying, since I've been doing Fandom Spotlight for 4 years, that if I knew then what I know now, I would have grown a lot faster. I'm at almost 15,000 subscribers, 4.5 million views, which is pretty good. But
Yeah.
I think if I had started way back then, knowing what I know now, I'd be much further along. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm starting a channel just for toy reviews, which with this whole YouTube thing might be really bad timing. But I'm going to do it anyway. It's called Toy Spotlight. I'm giving you the link to put in the description if anyone wants to go. There are absolutely no videos released on the channel yet, but there will be.
I think I'm your second subscriber.
Yes, I'm the first.
Nice.
Because you can subscribe to your own channel. Why wouldn't you? If it's between $9.99 or $1,000 and you haven't subscribed to your own channel, do it. So yes, you're my second subscriber, but we will be releasing at least 1 or 2 videos, hopefully, before TFCon, and then there will be some stuff, hopefully, from TFCon that I'll be putting in there. Now, Story of Optimus Prime, which is an ongoing series, we have 2 parts out, and Story of Bumblebee, and an upcoming one, which is the Story of Megatron, which is in development right now. Those will still be on Fandom Spotlight because that deals with the story, it deals with the voice actors, it deals with the comic book. It's not just the toy, but all the toy stuff, which I'm going to have some wild toy things, and I have really weird toys that I'm going to be showing, will be on Toy Spotlight. And we'll also do things like visit collectors in their homes and show off their collections and talk to them about collecting. Kind of like the SITREP, because I have to steal your idea. No, it's not.
Well, I stole this idea. I mean, it's the talk show thing's been rolling. So, of course, I had to come up with my own gimmick. Had to stick with that military thing.
Yeah, it's anyone can interview anybody. So, some caveman is probably like, me come up with this idea. Why the caveman kind of sounds a little like Grimlock, I don't know why, but me, Grimlock, going to interview you now. Yes.
Yes.
Me saw Beast Wars. Me like that Megatron fellow. He handsome. So Toy Spotlight is the new channel, and we will be releasing videos if you want to visit it and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when we start putting out videos, you'll see it. It does have a few playlists on there showing my other stuff on Fandom Spotlight, but toy reviews on Fandom Spotlight will not really be a thing unless it's like a prop for a costume. If it can be used as a prop for a costume, it's going to be on there. But other toy reviews will be on Toy Spotlight. And we'll see how quick this channel can grow, since, I'm saying I know all this stuff about YouTube now. So,
well, I will do my best. We'll definitely put the link to that. We'll put the link to Fandom Spotlight and Toy Spotlight in the description of this video. I was going to ask you question number 10, but you have already answered that, where I say, do you have any channel goals for yourself and where can our viewers find you? You've answered that for me, so we're good to go.
Well, not my main goal. One
Oh,
million subscribers. No, but yes. Well, thank you for allowing me to plug my channel on your channel, and I will definitely share with my people so they can check out your channel. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a very interesting few months, and for those people who are thinking about starting a channel, YouTube
wait,
is not. What's that?
wait.
Wait. Don't do it. It's horrible. For those people who are thinking about starting a channel or have started a channel and are struggling, YouTube is not a place to look at other YouTubers and be like, you're my competition, I hate you, or, YouTube is a community of creators who support each other. And yes, there might be some friendly rivalry here and there, but really, there's room on YouTube for everybody. There's so many people who watch YouTube. You don't have to be like, well, I'm not going to, work with this person, or I'm not going to talk about this person's channel, because it doesn't work that way. This isn't like network television where it's like, you need to watch our channel here on CBS and nobody else. Just get out there and make friends and be on other people's channels whenever you can. Have people on your channel. Promote the crap out of them. I don't know. Can we say shit on your channel?
Well, you can say shit now because you just did.
Oh.
See,
Fuck.
now my demographics will stay there because I said shit, and I just said shit again. Well, shit. So.
Well, just don't take it too fucking far.
I love it. But yeah, you bring up a good point. I have met so many great people through this YouTube thing. And, like you and I, we've never met face to face, but I feel like you and I are like sitting at Applebee's right now chatting, which hell we'll probably be doing at the end of the month. But,
Definitely.
and I've got so many pointers from other people who's done this, and I've shared what I've learned. And it's all it is. It's trial and error. And every video, every review, you're going to come up with something else, and just keep doing it until you find what works for you, what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's so many different styles. Don't steal anyone's style, but just if you're going to work on YouTube, always just try to do better every single video. Improve a little bit of something. So if you do 1,000 videos on YouTube and no one can tell the difference between your first video and your 1,000th, there's a problem. Unless you're like
watching my first videos.
Some of my older ones, I'm like, I could have done a bit better, but move forward. Don't look back too much. Unless you happen to be like a super expert, you worked in TV production and you know all this stuff, and so your first video and your last video are all super quality. But if you're like most, your first video is probably crap. A lot of mine were. So always improve. So I'm actually part of this channel thing is actually seeing how long it would take, starting from scratch with now 2 subscribers, how long it's going to take me to get up to the 1,000, doing all the best practice things that everyone says to do, doing the custom thumbnails and doing the short intros and hooks and things that this video may not have because it's more of an interview, but the pattern interrupt and the B-roll and all that stuff, just using every trick in the book, seeing how fast I can grow. So, I mean, I'm not doing a van life, but I don't know if you saw that one. She grew like, oh my God. But trying every single trick that I've learned to make this channel grow, and we are going to be on this journey together. I hope you'll join me and subscribe.
You got it.
The journey shorter.
As your number 2, I'm right along with you. I'll be watching. Well, Kyle, I really appreciate you coming on. We've been on way longer than anticipated. We were supposed to start at 9:30. It's now 11 o'clock.
Well, we didn't start at 9:30 because we were
supposed to start at 9:30.
Yeah. I talk too much. I'm sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. I love it. I love doing these. It's always great meeting other people, talking face to face, and really want to thank you for taking the time out to talk with me and my people. And like I said, I'm going to have all of Kyle's information in the description of this video. Fandom Spotlight, Toy Spotlight. At the end where you see that American flag flying, I will link a couple of his videos. Definitely the story of Optimus Prime. That's a great one to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think you guys will too. Any final words, my friend?
Just get out there, collectors, and good hunting. Get what you want, but still pay your rent. You know, stuff like that. Collect responsibly. Don't go to Collectors Anonymous. I haven't collected a Transformer in 3 days. Thank you, George. Yeah.
That's a real addiction. I've run into that. All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. I have got to get to bed because I got to get up early and get that 5-year-old off to kindergarten. I appreciate Kyle once again for stopping by, and I appreciate you guys for checking out the SITREP. Don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. This is Patriot Prime signing out. Hooah!